And then he just started to decide to go against his norm because he's a really not arrogant, just stubborn guy. He doesn't want to sell a family car,
It's a bit of a prick, basically. So that's what he is. I mean, a lot of people say Enzo is a bit of a prick.
Enzo is a bit, he always loved winning.
Yeah, he
lost like what, 8 drivers in the span of 6 years.
Yeah.
But it actually take a toll on him. But he just his ego, but that what makes Ferrari now.
Actually, speaking on death, if you have Ferrari in automotive racing, and even in automotive history in general, a lot of deaths happen. In racing, that's normal because in the 50s and 60s, F1 cars or racing cars were essentially death traps that could just explode at any time. So it's amazing that some of these people actually lived. And then there was another big accident in 1955. It was the 24-hour of Le Mans. It's a 24-hour endurance race where one car, a Mercedes, got into an accident, a very harsh accident, and the car flew. And then the engine came out. The engine got detached from the car, and what made it worse was when the car was grinding on the asphalt, the car was made of magnesium.
Oh, shit.
Magnesium doesn't, it burns very, very strong. It's very hard to put out. So a few people died, and even kids died. From that onwards, in 1955, Mercedes pulled out of auto racing until the 90s. So automotive history is people would say it causes harm, and most environmentalists would say all of those things, and people who are anti-car would say, oh, it's all bad, but any kind of history is bad. That's why you learn from it. And to give another context, in Malaysia, in the 80s, so in the 80s, Malaysia had a lot of Grand Prix races, literal city circuits. We had the Penang Grand Prix, the Shah Alam Grand Prix, and they were racing on the streets. So we had a very rich racing history as well. One of these races was called Harvey Yap, Chinese guy, and his car was a Ford Escort. Small Ford, and you could just buy it off the shop, and then you just modify it. That's what essentially the race was. And I heard there was an article I read that there was an accident where he veered off into a fence, and it killed children. It killed a few children. And it was a huge thing. It is one of the worst accidents in Malaysian automotive racing history. And Harvey Yap, there was an article that explained that Harvey Yap was, to this day, I mean, he had already passed. I think he had passed away already, but he felt very, very bad about that. And it shows that, these accidents, they don't come purposely. Sometimes it is an accident. That's why it's called an accident.
That's why it's called accident.
And this is just things that we learn from, because throughout the span of automotive history, we learn the accidents that we cause, the unsafe things that we create in cars. We learn to adapt and to make them better. Ford, for example, made a car where you hit the back, it'll explode. And that's real.
Back?
Yes.
From behind?
Yes. So it's a Ford Pinto. It's like a hatchback looking thing made in the 70s. Ford cut costs a lot when making the car. So the petrol tank was here. So when someone hit the petrol tank like this, the petrol tank would squeeze into the car, into the frame, and then just spray gas all over, and it will just ignite. So Ford got sued a lot, and they've learned from their mistakes.
It was when in the 70s.
It was in the 70s. Not a lot of people cared in the 70s, but this was a huge lawsuit, and Ford paid the price for it. Yes. So that's safety, and now safety has gotten so much better.
That's fascinating because I think there's also one incident in Formula One. I think it's 2015. Like this new talent. I don't say talent because it's already bursting into the scene, I guess. In Suzuka circuit in Japan.
Yeah, it's Japan.
It was raining, and you know that F1 cars at the time when you sit here, this is like that's the only space, and then this is your steering wheel. Right?
Yeah.
So there's no protection around
your head.
And then there's one guy, I'm not sure, I forgot, got into an accident first, and then they bring in like a big, huge ass tractor to lift that car up. On the same corner, after I think like 2 to 3 laps after, this guy, I think he's riding a Ferrari. I forgot his name. Jules Bianchi.
Okay.
He went straight ahead. I don't know, the car locked or something, because when you speed from that 300 kilometers,
angle,
right, it locked, and then he went on the edge of the tractor, assuming that his head goes first. So that's why now when you watch F1 cars since 2015 or 16, they have this
The halo,
thing called
the halo.
right? And it's like a really light thing, like I think what 6 kilograms if I'm not mistaken, but could withstand like 12 tons of force.
And
That's where technology, safety, and humanity get together.
That's what happens, because I saw a video. I think Alonso crashed a few years ago, like head on, walked out like there was nothing. You couldn't do that in the 50s.
Yeah.
If you crashed into a wall, you wouldn't see yourself anymore.
You will see yourself from above.
Yes, you will see yourself from above. So, oh, I died.
Okay, let's move on.
But safety has changed so much. But the problem is actually a lot of people don't like safety.
Why?
People would think that the safety nannies, they call it, right? They try to control your car, and cars nowadays they have lane departure assist. But if you veer off into a lane, it will help. It'll crack you back. And some cars will stop by itself. If you see a child or something that you're supposed to run over, but then you stop. And then in the sensors and everything, a lot of people don't really like that stuff. Personally, I do. I don't like all of them, because some of them are actually quite annoying. But I do like my reverse sensors and my reverse camera, because I can't see out of it. But these technologies, they help you become a safer driver. But it begs the question: with all of this technology, essentially cars can drive itself. Tesla has claimed that cars can drive itself. But with all of this technology, how focused are we? How responsible are we driving on the road? If you're letting the car drive by itself, what's the point? Why did you take your license if you're letting the thing drive itself? So it's actually a big debate in today's automotive culture. And with cars getting so advanced, one thing is advanced, everything is a touchscreen, which is actually dangerous. And these things are getting so fast. Electric cars are stupidly fast. They can go 0 to 100 in 3 seconds. Why would you need to go that fast? Why would you need to do that fast on a normal daily driver? You don't need that amount of speed.
Dude, we know a few of
we know
friends.
We know a few people that
love to just
a bit heavy-footed, right?
Just floor the gas.
But
for whatever
the problem
reason.
is that the problem is now is that it's something that's up for debate. Is cars are getting too technologically advanced. How advanced and can us as drivers cope with this advancement? And can we as responsible drivers, be responsible on the road? Pay attention, because I know some people who absolutely rely on those autonomous braking systems where they will just let the car brake and expect the car to do it, even though manufacturers have specifically said, please don't expect the car to brake. You have to be, controlling
the one
everything.
Taking the initiative to brake.
If you watch the news, there's a lot of news. Those stupid people on Teslas, right? They literally sit on the passenger seat and let the car drive itself.
Yeah.
So that's a huge problem that it's sort of coming here now too. A lot of people are relying too much on this, and with drivers getting worse and worse. You've seen dashcam videos. Yeah. It's a big debate on are cars getting too modern, and I feel it too. Okay. My family doesn't have the most modern cars, but we do have a newer car which has autonomous braking, lane departure assist, cruise control, all of that stuff. And I drive my car, which has a steering wheel, essentially. So that's the only thing it has. Steering wheel and a reverse camera. That can't see anything out of it. But when I switch cars, right, I can feel that I had to get used to all of these things getting angry at me for no reason.
Information being fed.
Yeah, my mom's car, if you veer off a lane, it will say stop doing that. Literally, it will say that. And you do have to pay attention to the screens, because that's the only thing you have to pay attention to, because the things are telling you. And on touchscreen as well, touchscreens. Okay, the reason why manufacturers do touchscreen is it's cheaper than using buttons.
Oh, really?
Because buttons, you have to design, you have to make sure it's tactile.
Yeah.
One button is bigger, one button is smaller. Some buttons have indentation, you can feel it.
Yeah.
That costs money and research. A button guy has to come to the office and do your buttons. Okay, that's expensive.
Button guy.
A button guy. Okay, a screen is easy. You ask a designer to create a UX, and then everything is all touchscreen. It's all programmable. You can ask Amir to do it. You know?
Okay.
Okay, Amir, if you're watching this, design a car. But when you use a touchscreen, it's dangerous. Imagine you're driving. You want to change your air conditioning vent position, which on some cars, you can't move the thing. You have to go to the screen because it's electronically controlled. Like Porsche, for example, the Taycan, which is an electric sports car, to change the orientation of the vent, naik atas turun bawah, you have to go into the screen and then you have to move a thing and then it will move.
Oh.
That's dangerous. That's very, very dangerous because you are literally taking your eyes off the road. Even when I was coming here, I was looking at the directions, right? And that thing is on me. And that is legal, but you can put a mount and then look at your maps. But even that, just looking a few seconds away just to adjust my maps, I could have hit someone. So imagine touchscreens surrounding you, and you have to drive that. So it's for me, it's distracting. And luckily, I read recently, Europe especially, they've made a new law saying that cars need to have a certain amount of buttons so that drivers aren't too distracted.
Did they pass the law, or is just something up to discussion?
It's a regulation that they have to do because all cars have to adhere to a specific. Each nation has their own. So they have Euro NCAP, ASEAN NCAP, and the American version of it. So they all have to adhere to such things. But Europe did it first. So they say, okay, all cars have to have buttons now because touchscreens are horrible. Volkswagen, for example. The new Golf, the Mark 7 Golf, is it the Mark 8, the newer ones? The entire screen for the radio and air conditioning is a touch screen, and the steering wheel, there's touch screens on the steering wheel.
They did what?
There's touch screens on the steering wheel. It's haptic feedback.
It's just like Formula One's car or something?
Even Formula One has buttons.
Yeah, but they have like small, I don't know for what
but this is completely screen. So if someone knocks your steering wheel and it cracks, that means you can't use it.
Can't drive.
Because it's a screen. Ferrari does this too. Ferrari, a company who is well known to not do good electronics, made a steering wheel that has electronics inside it.